The cafe was bustling with the midday rush, the scent of roasted coffee beans and freshly baked pastries weaving through the air. Laughter echoed in corners, and keyboards clattered softly as people worked on their laptops. But in the middle of that warmth, there was a chill. A hush swept across one corner of the cafe as a young woman stood silently near a window table, arms folded tightly across her chest. Her clothes were worn, her shoes scuffed, and her eyes were tired. Not just the kind of tired that comes from lack of sleep, but the kind that settles in after months, maybe years, of struggle. "Miss, if you're not going to order anything, I'm afraid you can't stay here," the manager's voice rang out, loud and unkind. The girl flinched, her cheeks flushing with humiliation. She didn't argue. She didn't make a scene. Instead, she nodded silently and began to gather her things. Though she had no food, no coffee, just a threadbare backpack that looked like it had seen too many nights in cold alleyways. People watched. No one moved. No one said a word. Until... Wait. The voice cut through the tension like a warm breeze through a storm. It came from a man seated at a nearby table with a small boy beside him. The man stood up, tall and calm, his eyes gentle. "She can sit with us." The manager hesitated, clearly annoyed. "Sir, she's not a customer. I'll cover whatever she wants." "Let her sit," the man said firmly. The girl looked up, startled. Her eyes flicked between the man and the boy, unsure if this was pity or something worse. But there was no judgment in their faces. Just kindness. Slowly, hesitantly, she walked toward them. The man's name was Daniel. A single father, widowed 3 years ago, raising his son Liam on his own. He knew what it felt like to be overlooked. To be dismissed. After his wife passed, he had been let go from his job for taking too many sick days, most of them spent taking care of Liam or mourning in silence. They had struggled too, scraping by on savings and small gigs until he'd finally landed something stable again. Daniel had seen the signs in the girl's eyes. Not just hunger, but hopelessness. "What's your name?" he asked gently as she sat. "Emma," she whispered. Liam smiled at her. "Hi, Emma. Do you like muffins? The blueberry ones are the best." She gave a small, shaky laugh, the first in who knows how long. "Yeah. I like blueberry." Daniel ordered for her. Coffee, a muffin, and a sandwich. She thanked him so softly he barely heard. They ate, bits and pieces of her story unfolded. Emma had once been a college student, studying literature, dreaming of writing books. But a family emergency had drained her finances, and without support, she'd been forced to drop out. Jobs were hard to come by with no degree, and soon she couldn't even afford rent. Shelters were full. Nights were long and cold. She came to the cafe often, not to eat, but just to feel human again. To sit near warmth. To pretend, for a little while, that life was normal. Daniel listened. He didn't interrupt. He didn't offer empty words. He just listened. The cafe manager passed by, watching their table with a skeptical eye. But Daniel ignored him. Emma noticed. "I should go," she said quietly, starting to stand. "I don't want to cause trouble." "You're not causing trouble," Daniel said firmly. "You're welcome here. And if anyone says otherwise, they'll have to deal with me." She looked at him, eyes wide. "Why are you being so kind to me?" He paused for a moment. Then he said something that stayed with her forever. "Because someone once did the same for me." They met again the next day. And the next. A new ritual began. Emma would come in around noon, and Daniel and Liam would already be there. They'd share food, stories, laughter. She told Liam about dragons and stars and secret treehouses. She made him giggle until his apple juice came out of his nose. Emma started to look less hollow. Her clothes were still the same, but her spirit was healing. Daniel saw it. One afternoon, he handed her an envelope. She hesitated before opening it. Inside was a handwritten note and a gift card to a local department store. "I found a part-time job for you. It's not much, just a bookstore downtown. They need help organizing inventory. I know the owner. And this, it's so you can get some clothes for the job. You don't have to say yes. But I hope you will." Emma choked back tears. "Why are you doing all this?" He smiled. "Because the world needs more people like you, Emma. And because I believe in you, even if you don't believe in yourself right now." Weeks turned into months. Emma started working. Then saving. Then writing again, short stories scribbled into a worn notebook, late at night. She got a room in a shared apartment, began building herself back piece by piece. But she never missed a lunch with Daniel and Liam. And then, one day, Emma didn't come. Daniel waited, worried. Hours passed. No message. No call. The next day, she arrived, eyes bright with excitement. "I got a scholarship," she said breathlessly. "Someone submitted one of my stories to a program I didn't even know about. They read it. They want me to finish school. Fully paid." Daniel stood slowly, stunned. Liam cheered and hugged her leg. She smiled at Daniel. "You were the first person in a long time who made me feel like I mattered. You gave me a seat when the world was trying to throw me out. I'll never forget that."